South, and Bill Lundy was booking, and he wanted me to do the general Eddie Gilbert that I'd done here, that Lawler had done, and manage a guy named the Nightmare, which is Randy Colley, and he became the North American champion. I was managing him, but I didn't really feel good in that role or anything, and then I wound up being a babyface for a little while, and really not really finding what my character was. And then Jake Roberts is the one that had the idea. Jake Roberts had the idea that all of a sudden I turned on the Fantastics and I get this portrait made of myself, but it was a rib on me is what it was, because Jake said get it done, and whatever it costs, give the receipt to Bill Watts and he'll reimburse you. And it was $495, I think, at the time, and I remember turning in and Bill laughed at me like 3 straight weeks, gave it back to me, so I had to go in for $500. So Jake really didn't know whether the thing would get over or not. He just did. It really riveted me, and it did get over. I went on TV every week and said, people writing letters and tell me why they want the portrait of myself, and it worked. All of a sudden I had this new character, and from there on I got to go on, and that was the first deal. I had a little run there as the Mid-South Tag Champions with the Nightmare again together, and then a little bit later I announced my retirement, that I was going to start managing a Russian named Porchenko, and the Blade Runner, Sting and Rock or Ultimate Warrior, whoever, and we had some interesting trips. And then Rick Steiner came in about the same time too, but he was first, second match, and I still hadn't got a hold of him yet as far as molding him and talking to him and everything. And then we got with the Russian Korchenko, they brought Ivan Koloff and Nikita in. And I think Bill Watts had done something to me the week before, or had done something to the Russian or something like that, because I had this idea, and this was another one I enjoy when I'm able to get these, because this was an idea, but it got Bill Watts to thinking that I could come up with some good ideas or angles or something. So I came up with a thing where I go down to the ring, and I would go dressed really just subtle, because I was always wearing outrageous looking pants and crazy teeny shoes, kind of like Jimmy Hart, crazy sunglasses, and running out there and acting a fool. So I wore like a pair of sweatpants and teeny shoes. Walked out to the ring and said, I want to call a great man out here. Bill Watts came down, and I said, you're really a great man, and I want to tell you that, I'm sorry for everything I've done. You're right, I'm this, whatever he called me, an idiot, and I am that, and I just want to shake your hand. And he said, all right. He shook my hand. About that time, all the Russians came in from behind, and the Blade Runners come up the aisle, and they held Bill Watts, and I took this red painted shovel and I blasted him over the head with it, and he was bleeding, and I slapped him, and I laid the Russian flag over his face, and that started my first major that'd been like doing the main event type angle with Lawler here. I did with Bill Watts there, and then I got to do some matches where if he won, he got 5 minutes with me alone, and I got to wrestle him for the whole 5 minutes, which was fun. And also, he whipped me. I let him whip me with a belt a few nights, too. But I showed him I'd take it. I was man enough. I took like 4 or 5 good licks with it before I jump out of the ring and run. Most guys would take 1 or 2 then leave. But I tried to show him I was man enough to do it. But I got a lot of my ideas across to him that way. And that was my angles, I guess, and to lead up to stuff he did.
And how long did you last in Mid-South?
From 1985 through the buyout of Crockett. Find it out to the early part of 88, 85 to 88, I guess. But that, like I said, it was the UWF, Mid-South to UWF to NWA UWF. So,
what were some of the other major angles that you were running during those years? I'm going to drop in. I got a first generation on the turnaround with the Russians, so I'm going to drop that in there.
Okay.
Yeah, where did Missy come in?
The Missy deal was, I get a little fishy on this one, because it turned out it was like...
by the way, I'm a divorce attorney, so you're okay.
Okay, but this was funny. This whole angle, this whole idea was actually really what was going on, and that's what it was. When you see any of this tape of stuff of what happened then, it was real. It was going on. It was going on behind the scenes.
Did she hit John with the bag? Was that real?
No, I just don't want this on tape right here, please. Don't.
Say that for later.
Yeah, let me just stall it there right now.
That was great.
But when you're looking at the things and looking at people's faces, and when we get in the ring and anytime Taylor, it always You know, I'm glad in the end that it always got to me that we were able to do so much stuff with each other and still somehow work in the same place on the same roof, because there was very tense moments a lot of people don't know about. At big arena shows like Houston, I remember one night a big thing happening. Sting was wrestling Tatum and Missy was at ringside. I think something happened. I was down. I had separate dressing rooms away from John and those guys, and actually I was away from everybody. It's kind of like alienated with her, and I didn't get to see what happened because I was at the back, and somehow or another he whacked her pretty good or something, and it was during the start of it, and then she gets back. I mean, this kind of stuff went on, and so the stories never got to be told, but in the end of me and Missy when we first met was just like, I tried to stay away from her when I first saw her. I didn't really want to be around her, and then from what I could tell, it was about the same, and we finally I kind of just wandered into her room one night in Tulsa, Oklahoma after the matches. You ever see the tape where Sting and I won the UWF tag belts from the Fantastic, where Missy hits Tommy Rogers with the purse and John Tatum with her? Well, that night was our first meeting after the matches. I was at the La Quinta in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and I just kind of went out, and Missy opened up her door, and there she was, and I just kind of walked in, and we got to talking, and one thing led to another, and a few weeks later we were together. A lot of tense moments there. But that was one of my favorite angles because it was a true life thing going on television, life imitating art, and art imitating life, and it was a real thing. And then the greatest thing of all was being able to come back to Global a couple of years ago or a year ago and be able to see John Tatum and work with him and almost feel in a funny way that we were some kind of like family. I don't know.
Well, you've both been through the...
Exactly.
Yeah, you've both been on the same ride.
Yeah. Yeah, it was fun. I had 4 good years, and I don't regret anything. So.
Well, now, you met Missy, when was that, about 80?
86 is when I met Missy.
So you were there for almost a couple of years with her, so it must have been tense a lot of nights.
Oh, anytime you're with Missy, that's what you mean. It's tense. It's real tense. You don't know, unless you're in public sometimes. A lot of weird things. John Gillum, my good friend, sitting over here at the other end of the room, so he can understand what I'm saying here too. And anybody that knows that was with me and Missy much in public, knows I'm kind of, when I go in somewhere, I like to have a ball cap on, a pair of glasses, and my coat turned up, and I just want to go eat and not be bothered by anybody about anything. I'm just kind of secretive and quiet and just don't want to be bothered. Period. And she wants to walk in with the black sunglasses on and the hair's back and blonde showing everywhere, and it's like a Hollywood starlet came in to the restaurant or store or airport or something, and it's not a fun thing for me. And plus when she threw tantrums, and which went on a lot, in public. Behind the scenes, I don't care. It's fine. In public, so it was tense a lot of times. I remember my dad looked at me and said, "Good luck."
And your dad was shaking his head.
I tell you, I got to say this too, because I'm sure my family will see it. And it was tense on them too in the beginning of it because I put them through a lot of stuff. My dad put me through a thing one time with choosing him or my family or Missy. So, but they wound up. Everything worked out. It was tense time.
Listen, driving you nuts, did it affect your work?
I don't think so. I think it made me better. I think that's what probably made me decide and know that I work better under pressure than I do when I got a lot of time to think. So because if you think about it, in 87, we got married in October of 87. In March of 87 is when I got offered the booking job at Watts, and I was going through all this. And Watts knew it and called me in and asked me if I'd take the job and if I'd take as much power in the dressing room as Ken Mantell. And I said, yes, sir, that's what I've been waiting for. And he gave it to me. And, I was still going through some stuff in personal life, but I was always able to, keep that separate. And I've always tried to do that if I can.
And so where was the relationship when the UWF sold out?
Where was the relationship?
Where did you go and what was the relationship?
Oh, okay. When UWF sold out, Missy had actually, was good. At the time,
you can see the TV movie in years to come.
Boy, it's funny because when I got ready to leave, I got ready to leave the UWF because I thought Ken Mantell and